Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am the Peacefire Witch, and on this channel I review tarot decks, oracle decks, and other witchy things. And you should be very excited for today's episode because it is a review of the Gaudmother Tarot, which is the very first Kickstarter that I ever pledged into. So this is really exciting. It just came, so I'm just very excited to share it. So let's get right into it. Of course, the first thing you're going to notice is it does come with the dreaded tuck box. It also doesn't have any gilding or a guidebook. A lot of times that's what you get with some Kickstarters because they are not, it's not commercially published. So a lot of these things they kind of cut on in order to focus on the deck. The reason I decided to pledge and get this deck was because the creator is somewhat local to me. Her name is Samantha. And so Samantha is local, at least within the same state, I guess, is my definition of local, since nobody actually lives near me. But yeah, I saw this on Kickstarter and I was like, you know what, I'm going to support a local artist and bid into this. I do think this is the most expensive deck that I have now, though, because it was kind of expensive, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. Here's the back of the deck. So we've got a butterfly, flower, the eye in the middle of the flower right there. You cannot tell if it's upside down or right side up. It is a glossy cardstock. Again, I do prefer matte, but I don't really, glossy's okay, as long as it's not so slippery that the cards are going to jump apart a lot. And it's, I would say this is probably standard playing card thickness. So it's not the thickest, it's not the thinnest, Let's compare size with the Muse. Pretty much it is the exact same size. I will note that the rounded corners are a little bit more rounded on the Gaudmother Tarot than the Muse Tarot, but otherwise I think they're exactly the same size. So pretty standard tarot size as well. So now let's just take a look at the cards. This is a mostly unseen flip through because I have seen some of the cards obviously on the Kickstarter campaign, but I didn't really focus too closely on them. I saw a couple that I thought were kind of cool, and I'm like, I'll give this deck a go and throw some support towards the creator. So here we go. The first card is the Fool. It is a collage deck, and it is purposefully gaudy. Gaudmother is not G-O-D mother, it's G-A-U-D mother. So keep that in mind as we go through. And also, there is a nudity warning associated with this deck. So if you are uncomfortable with that, go ahead and back out. And this, the Fool card, he's not starting on a new journey going off a cliff, but we do have the dog here. We do have a few other elements and things going on. And I won't say what I think is happening down here, but you can figure it out for yourself. Again, some of this is taking on a much more like a bigger twist on the RWS system. It is following the RWS system in the sense that the cards are numbered and titled the same as the RWS system, but it is not following a lot of the traditional symbolism, and you will notice that. So here's the High Priestess. I love the cat. Love the High Priestess. I'm going to be looking for diversity in this deck and inclusion in this deck as well. So we have already seen a couple of different, different races, different genders. It looks like we're looking at some different body sizes, different ages. The Hierophant is very interesting. The Lovers. Chariot. I like that the Chariot is actually being pulled by cats. See that? And Strength, again, one of my favorite cards. So let's take a look at it. We have the Lion. We have what appears to be a woman. It could be a man, but just a person interacting with the lion, even though the lion is, you can see a bit of his body right here, but a bit separate. Again, this is definitely an interesting take on the RWS. And a lot of the symbology is gone, but the basics, I would say, are there. Like the wheel, you have the wheel, you have the things moving around the wheel. There's just And I am recording this during the day, so if you hear some extra background noise, that's what it is. Actually, it's hilarious. My chickens are laying eggs right now. I don't know if you can pick up on that sound, but it's kind of funny. Here's the Hanged Man, another very interesting one. Kind of hard to see what's going on in some of these pictures. Oh, the trees. I actually have a tattoo of this tree on my back. But it's hard to see what's going on in some of these pictures. They're a little bit too busy in some cases. And in other cases, I actually really enjoy them. And the busyness kind of works. Like this one, I think the busyness almost works to the advantage. It's supposed to be chaotic. So, there's the Devil, the Tower card I frequently stop at. And this one does have a little bit more of the traditional symbolism. You have the building on fire, people falling out of it, the lightning bolts. So there are some things pulling through, but for the most part, this is definitely a unique spin and take and, personalized to the creator. And there's the world. So now we are moving on to the minor arcana, and I do believe there are a few changes. So we in the minor arcana name. So we have wands, which is not a change. I think the change comes in with the court card, if I'm remembering correctly. So this is one that she listed on the Kickstarter, kind of advertising the deck. They're all cats. So that, most of these cards are illustrated. This is not a pip deck. There was a couple of pippish cards in it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a pip deck. So here we have the name changes. So instead of the page, we have the sister. Instead of the knight, we have the brother. Instead of the king, it looks like we have the father. And instead of the queen, we have the mother. So there are the changes that are existing within the minor arcana. So now we're moving on to Pentacles, and this might be my favorite card so far. That's great. All right, 3 of Pentacles. I like this one too a lot. So it uses some, actually this is an interesting one because it's using a pretty well-known image of, I guess, suffering is like, that was, I believe, a Great Depression picture. So correct me if I'm wrong, I'm fairly certain this is from the Great Depression, and it's just showing, a mother struggling to take care of her family. So that's a part of this, it's familiar symbolism too, but yeah, so it's mostly pictures I don't recognize. That's the only one that I have actually been able to recognize in the deck so far. So now we're on to the court cards of the Pentacles. So here's the Sister of Pentacles, the Brother, the Father. Oh, I like this one too. And the Mother. I like how she has the deer antlers for eyelashes. I like the cookies too, and then there's cookies, and she's very motherly. I'm moving on now to the swords. I'm just gonna kind of flip through here kind of quickly. Do you hear my dog? I have a whining dog in the background. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. It's actually, I do like the colors that are used throughout it. I feel they're nice and what they should be. I wouldn't say necessarily that they're vibrant. There's a lot of watercolor, which watercolors just... Okay, sorry if there's a weird cut. I had to let my dog out. She was being whiny. But yeah, like I said, there's watercolors being used, which are intentionally muted colors, but then there's some vibrant colors being pulled in some of the collage elements, as well as other muted colors. So it's a nice variety. It's a very, very collagey deck. This is not kind of the new age collage. This is kind of the old school collage deck, but I don't have any old school collage decks, so I kind of enjoy this a lot. And here we're on to the cups, and we got a little party scene happening here. 3 of Cups, the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups. So there is a fair amount of nudity too, so obviously not probably the greatest deck for a kid. I see this as being a deck that I hold on to and I kind of reach for when I want something really just, I guess almost bizarre would be the word, but not quite, just really different. Like I just need a different perspective that's completely opposite of pretty much anything else that I have. Even though I have a lot of collage decks, none quite like this. And we're going to wrap it up with the Mother of Cups. So let's see what we can do to give this a shuffle here. So again, no gilding. I imagine that since these are pretty bendy, this is not going to be, not a problem. So it shuffles really well. It doesn't stick. It's, like I said, it's a shiny deck, so it's not matte, but it's not too shiny that's kind of slipping all over the place. And let's take one last look. My favorite thing ever in this deck, I imagine, is going to be super fun to do this in. Look at how colorful. So colorful. So as I said before, this was a Kickstarter deck. So I honestly do not know where it is currently available. I don't know. I don't think there was a backer kit type thing where you could add extras. So you're going to have to dig for this, or maybe not even be able to find it. If you're lucky enough to have gotten in on the Kickstarter, you might have one of the only decks of this floating around. But I will definitely link below if I find where you can find it. So again, this is the Kickstarter Gaudmother Tarot by Samantha Lindbeck, and this has been the Peacefire Witch. You can find me on Instagram at @thepeacefire_witch. And of course, you can follow me here on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button, give me a like, leave a comment, let me know what deck you want to see, because I love to take requests and I love buying decks. So I need some inspiration. Let me know in the comments, and I will be back again very soon.